braid your tail. You get really impressed by that. Hey? You need a brush. Right, okay. So there, you can see that. There's the tail. There's the bands, all on my finger ready. Brush. Just using pig oil with sulphur and some medicated powder if it needs drying out a little bit. As you can see, I've just brushed her tail, just brushed it through. You might notice that her tail here, it's obviously a lot shorter here. That's not me cutting it. That was when I got her a couple of years ago. She was very badly neglected and left out with stallions, and hence the melanoma and the scar here, which turmeric has actually reduced the size of. But yeah, they'd ripped her tail out up to here. So as you can see, we were left with finish at the bottom, and this has all grown from up there to there. So not too bad, we're getting there. Right, so I tend to just braid up to this point if I can, and then it just encases the tail. Okay, right, so let's give that another brush through. You want to brush the underneath. Make sure it's completely brushed through. If you need to put any pig oil or sulphur in, then do, but don't clag it up too much, otherwise it's a pain in the backside to try and separate. Just get rid of that. Right, okay. So, start off as you would normally. So, as to do a traditional tail plait, you just take even section at the top. Now before I plaited it, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to stand still, good girl, on my toes, on my feet. I'm just going to put a band in and do it the traditional way, the way I think braiding should be. See what I mean? If you have too much product, oops, the bands are falling off my finger. Right. Okay. So that's what you start with. It doesn't matter if it sits up a bit. Actually, it's better if you stand it away, because when you're plaiting, you tend to plait down and pull it down all the way. Whereas when you start with the braid, I've found it's better off to start as you sort of braid it when the hair's sat up like that, because then it sits prominent from the tail that's underneath when you're going to be doing the braiding, you see. Oh, thank you, Willow, right in my face, that's always delightful. So, next step, as I said, it's really, really easy. So you've started off with 1, these will grow to 2, next line will be 3, next line will be 4, next line will be 5. It naturally progresses, because you will see, all you do is, all I do is I take from the tail there. No, love, can you just hold your brush a minute? Thank you. And I split this in half as evenly as possible. Get my band. Excuse a bruise on my hand. My foal decided to kick me in the hand the other day. Good luck. Oops, sorry, in the face. Stand. I tend to not overband it, because it just means that it gets a little bit of flexibility, it can move about and so on and so forth. Right, same again, this side. About there, about the same amount as you took the other side. And you just get that. You can see my fingers going a nice shade of purple. So I'm a bit all hands today, or thumbs even. I'm just doing a rough one because I obviously just want to show you. If you can't quite get it even, you can just pull that down slightly, like so. Makes life a little bit easier for you. So you're going to take the same amount again. And then I'll tell you what I will do actually, what I tend to do, which I should have done. Split the 2 in half then, evenly as possible. middle one first and then work your way out. It's a bit of a fiddly job, but you know, I like it, and can't quite believe the amount of likes we got on Facebook just for having a tail braided with something so simple. They really seem to like it, so that's good. I hope I'm not going too quick and it's making sense. Stand still. There we go. You need to take from the edge about there, and the further round you can take the better, because it just means that it encases the tail as opposed to sitting on top of the tail. Somebody's here. That's it. Okay. Excuse me, that's my dog barking in the stable. I don't know whether you can hear that. So do you get the idea? It's kind of starting to take shape now. Like I said, it's so easy and so straightforward. You just want to, again, should have started from the middle. That's my most habit. I'm going to do that. Split each one in half. I find if you do the bit in the middle first, reason for doing that is it gives you kind of a reference point for the rest of the braid when you're coming across, because as you can see you want to sort of keep it in lines, if that makes sense, so it has the desired effect, because if it's all wonky it's not going to look very good. You want to try and just keep this going. Normally it's taking me a bit longer because normally I have the bands in my mouth, but seeing as I thought it might be quite nice to chit chat through the video, I decided to try and hold them on my finger, which is really quite a task in itself. Sort of try and, when you go side to side, you want to sort of take it from about the same area if you can. Willow, you're being a really good girl actually. You're right, don't eat the nettles, love. I'm not normally this still. Maybe she knows she's on film, trying to prove me wrong. Right, so as you can see it's starting to lift a little bit. So what I do is I just tweak that slightly. So you just pull the hairs through a little bit. As I say, very quick version. If I was doing this for a show or anything, or being neat, I probably would take a bit more time. Right, so as you can see now I'm starting to go further round under the tail. I want to start taking pieces further round, alright? So, again, as I said before, it starts off with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and it naturally progresses, and if you start taking from underneath the tail and bringing it round, it encases the tail itself. But this, somebody said, one of the comments was, does the tail still have swishability? As long as you don't pull them too hard and have it gripping around the tail, they can move their tail very fluidly. As you can see, it's not hurting them at all, it's not pulling. So yeah, it's keep it off the tail, and it has a better effect I think if it sits off the tail like this too. Willow, your field's been topped today, and you know what? We're going to go for a really big run all the way up there in a bit. Once we're showing these lovely people how to braid your tail. Stand, preferably not on my foot. Sorry, I think I've got the angle on the camera right, I'm not entirely sure. I've had to video myself doing this before. It'd be easier than trying to hold a phone in my mouth. you can also, if you feel these are a little bit thin, which you're always going to be because you're taking more from the edges, you can always incorporate, when you get further down, you can always start to incorporate, like split the two that are on the outside. Obviously, as you can see, I haven't got a lot here and I've got a fair amount here. What you can do is go like that. I'm not going to do it this time because I want to keep it nice and even because I haven't done that on the other. Can you stand still, please, love? So then it'll make it a little thicker, but you need to incorporate it evenly. So because I haven't done that, I'll do it on the next one down and then you can see what I mean. Ooh. Twang myself in the finger with the hand. Obviously it always helps if you've got a horse that stands still, as this one seems to be at the moment. She's doing very, very well. So that's good. Right, darling, let's get your... So, let's use a picture of your new knot. She said she gave me permission. Please don't start raining now. It just keeps going and going, and the possibilities are endless with this. It's great. Stand, please. Thank you. As you can see, she's got a very thick tail. It's in need of a wash, so I do apologise for the filthy tail. Seeing as we've had so many responses, mainly on the Barefoot Owners group, but on the Percheron Horses page and on the Percheron Society page and on the, where else did we put it, Percheron Owners Club UK. We had quite a lot there, so I thought necessary to do a quick upload. I'm off for the next couple of days as well, so I'll have a few more attempts at this and try and do some more and some variations. One of the variations that I wanted to try, you can do is I had an idea of plaiting each strand. Obviously that will take a little bit more time, but I think the effects would be absolutely amazing. It's alright, I've dropped the band somewhere. But yeah, only when I've got a bit more time. And the other thing I'm looking for, the other thing you can do is I want to get crystal bands for all these joints to make it stand out a little more. As you can see, that's sort of come out a little bit. I'll just make that do now. Sure, that was thundery just open. Please don't let it rain. So I need a t-shirt. Slightly, and it alters the effect. And obviously you can bow them slightly with these when you're doing the separation here. So instead of just doing it and that one to that one, you can cross it over and do it that way, and it'll have this twisted effect, and it'll twist it round. Excuse me, I need to get some more bands. Stupid. You two behaving? Yeah, that's good. Right. As I say, it was a post I was following, and I happened to see this done on the mane. Oh God, I can't remember how long ago now. And I decided that I'd do it on her neck because, as you can see, we have a lot of mane here, and it's growing again, which is quite thick. This is where all the stallions ripped it all out, and it's growing back nicely finally. But I did it on the neck, on the mane, because she just has so much that I thought to myself, oh God, I really need to try and keep her neck cool. So that's what I decided to do. Thank you for the wind in the face, love. Stand. Hey, hey, stand. even, as you can see, I've ended up with a bit more on this side than I have this side, so the next time I take some from underneath, I just won't take quite as much. So you can alter it completely and utterly as you go. It's not set in stone as to how it has to be. Stand. This is easier with a clean, completely dried off tail. And like I say, the only product I actually really use on her tail as far as like a conditioner goes is the pig oil with sulphur in it. Obviously make sure it's well shaken, but yeah, it seems to do absolute wonders for her tail. It really does, and it really promotes good hair growth too with her. I mean, it's changed her so much. It's grown a good few inches since thingy. So when you're coming round this side, you can see I'm just, whoopsie daisy, sorry love, didn't mean to pull that one out. You can see I'm just going to start pulling this round now a little bit, because I want it to start encasing the tail a bit more. All sorts of hair tangled up in this, sorry love. See if I can pull another. So I want it to start wrapping around the tail a little more now. Okay, we're getting there. What are we up to now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. I think we'll probably go up to 8. Like I say, full movement in the tail. It's it doesn't restrict them in any way. Don't. Somebody else said to me on the comments, you know, not trying to be negative,